Coleman Plumbing and Heating sponsors for the 70 of Kerry Malone.
And finally, car 27 from Bating Hollow, Long Island, it's John White. Here they come, and here is Russ with the call.
Off of turn number 4, down to the line. Green flag is out, and we're racing with the Winston Racing Series Modified. Side by side, they work their way through turns 1 and 2. Larry Ross down on the inside. The veteran Moose Hewitt up on the I side. Hewitt takes the advantage deep into turn number 3. We slowly but surely begin to shuffle this deck as the drivers build up some heat in the tires. Hewitt leads them down across the stripe, and Manny Dias has gone around right on the front straightaway with car number 9X. That will bring out a caution, we believe, as Dias is unable to refire that car. Field now works its way off of turn 4, and the yellow flag is out. Manny Dias takes a ride down through the infield. And we'll need some help, as folks are the winner number 1 in the Quest for Success Award, sponsored by CarQuest Auto Parts Stores. That will be...
All right, we're ready once again. Chris Hopkins, Bill Long on the stand, and here we come. Out of turn 4, there's the green, and here's Russ once again.
Green flag is out, and Moose Hewitt jumps on the throttle. Mike Christopher is right there on the rear bumper. Larry Ross holds the outside groove as they head for turn number 2. The Moose leads the charge. We've got a few of them going around. Frank Cardeal in the 21. John White has gone around in the 27. And poor old Manny Dias is involved in this one as well. This does not appear to be quite as quick a fix, however, for Dias in the 9X, as there is some front-end damage done to that race car. And White has... And the left front for Dias appears to have encountered some damage. The 21 of Cardeal, which is a former Mike McLaughlin-driven race car owned by Art Barry. White Brothers Trucking sponsored car number 27.
Yes,
and
he's got the ferry ride to take, and I'm sure it's a little choppy out there today. Okay, here we go, ready to resume. On the roll, and the green flag is out. Once again, Russ.
Off the turn they come, and Moose Hewitt shows that he certainly knows how to get the job done here at Stafford. As the Moose is loose into turn number 1. Hewitt and Mike Christopher right there knocking at the door. Christopher still seeking sponsorship for that car number 82. Down the backstretch they go. Here comes Mike Paquette and Poe Gunning, car number 33. They round the half mile, headed back down across the stripe. Moose Hewitt continues to set the pace, but he's got a mirror full of race cars.
Tom Tagg switches now to the inside groove, and that proves to be a mistake as Kerslake takes him on the outside in car 73. Back in the pack. And Ted Christopher starting to make his presence felt as he moves up now behind Bob Potter, and a big tangle in turn 3. Up and over go the cars. The number 5 of Gaeta up and over the number 88 of Savage. The 06 into the wall. And so some heavy damage once again. The 86 of Georgitis able to pull away under his own power, so he's all right. But
I think what is so tough for these guys, especially on a day like this, is with the harder compound tires. It run down here. Bob Potter has claimed 16 victories here at the Speedway in the last 10 years or so. With a beautiful Dodge Viper from Papa's Dodge Jeep Eagle Shelby in New Britain sets the pace with Peter Locke behind the wheel. Dodge Jeep Eagle Shelby Viper, the 400 horsepower pace car, down into the infield. Here they come one more time off the turn. It's the Moose, and the Moose is loose, literally right around sideways, and the field scatters behind him. George Moose Hewitt jumped on the throttle, and the car came right out from underneath him, and you can see what happened. Hewitt pulls away. Kerslake pulls away. Now, the 18 of Zambelli was involved in that. The 9 of Chris Jones also involved. The 53 of Kenny Johnson and the 07 of Bert Marvin. Now you can see a lot of damage done to the Marvin automobile. The right front suspension virtually torn off of that race car. Chris Jones running in second position in car 33. Mike Paquette in the 1. Bob Potter in the 51.
number 3. Just a little update about Bo Gunning. During the pit party, we had an opportunity to speak to him, and I asked him, I said,
very much. And once again, a delicate lift job for the Jones car. And look at that one. Hopefully he'll be back in the competition this Friday night as we open our regular season. Action starting at 7:45, gates opening at 6:30.
The throttles are down, and the green flag is out. They accelerate off of turn 4. Everything looks okay at this point of the game, and Mike Christopher leads them deep into turn number 1. Christopher and Gunning running 1-2. Then it is Mike Paquette on the inside. Bob Potter gets hooked up in the outside groove. Potter challenges for third as they head for turn number 3. Potter takes it in deep and grabs the spot. Paquette gets drop kicked back into 4th. Rounding out the top 5 is Ted Christopher in the red number 13.
Tom Tagg making his move now as he moves ahead of the 23 car on Larry Ross and into the number 6 spot.
Bob Georgiadis, after being involved in that third turn mishap, seems to be coming back nicely. The 21 of Frank Cardiel, also involved earlier in a mishap, seems to be working very, very nicely. Jerry Savage apparently experiencing some problems with the 88, and poor old Moose. A long, long way to go for George Moose Hewitt. He finds the high groove to his liking right now and begins to pull up alongside of car number 2 for the man they call the Fishhead, Rich Neary. 6 laps up on the scoreboard. Mike Christopher setting the pace. Car number 82, Bo Gunning, maintains the 2nd spot. Bob Potter is in 3rd. And it is Ted Christopher playing catch-up with the Sanitary Services, car number 13. As you indicated, Raleigh, the 3 of Tom Tagg headed towards the front. Tom, a very strong competitor, marching up onto the rear bumper of Mike Paquette's car number 1.
Rick Donnelly doing a fine job, too. He's hanging right with Tagg in the X2, so we'll see how he can do as he joins the lead pack. Georgiadis now in a duel with Larry Ross in the 23. Off the turn they come, and Georgiadis will just about close in on it.
Close in he does, and as they go through 1 and 2, Ross maintains the low groove. The sake is up high. Can Bobby pull up alongside and grab the position? As they head for 3, the answer is still very, very much a question mark. Larry Ross driving a very, very conservative yet fine line here at the Speedway, and he's making Georgiadis earn every inch of it. But Bobby has managed to put it together, and now he just slides ahead about a half a car length into turn 3, and that's his advantage over Ross, as we now have 10 laps up on the scoreboard. So back to the front, it is still car number 82, Mike Christopher, Bo Gunning, Bob Potter, and Ted Christopher has now managed to pull right up on the rear bumper of Potter. So we'll have a 3-way run developing here for position number 2.
Now Tagg puts the move on Paquette. Let's see if he can complete it. Here comes Tagg up to his left rear. Not quite enough. Paquette holding tight. And here comes Tagg out of turn 2, and he has 5th place.
That car also hooked up very nicely for the cool conditions. Rick Donnelly suddenly making his appearance with car number 2X. 12 laps posted on the Winston Racing Series scoreboard here on Spring Sizzler Weekend. The Winston Racing Series Modifieds rounding the half mile. Out front, it is car number 82, Mike Christopher out of Plainville, Connecticut. The driver seeking sponsorship for his racing efforts. And it is Bo Gunning for S&S Race Cars in car number 33. Bo out of Thomaston, Connecticut. The 51 of Bob Potter, the 13 of Ted Christopher. Then we go back to the 3 of Tom Tagg, the 1 of Mike Paquette, the 2 of Donnelly, the 57 of Chawanski, the 86 of Georgiadis, Larry Ross, Frank Cardiel, Kenny Johnson, Jerry Savage, Moose Hewitt, and Rich Neary. So that is your field with 14 laps up on the Winston Racing Series scoreboard. Again, 35 laps. That's the distance for this feature event. And thus far, Mike Christopher has gone pretty much unchallenged since he grabbed the lead on the restart after lap 3. So Mike Christopher, who was talking this morning about just how much he could use some financial assistance in terms of sponsorship. Finds himself in a great position to demonstrate not only the quality of the car, but the ability of himself as a driver to lead this event and to do it in a rather convincing fashion. Challenge now as Teddy drops down low, and Ted Christopher very easily puts Bob Potter back a spot. So now Teddy finds himself in the third spot, and Bo Gunning is in the unenviable position of being the meat in the sandwich. Frank Cardile is going around with car number 21. So the third caution of the event is out.
Oh, and that's
so it should make for an interesting one. Okay, the jockey for position. On it, off it, on it again. They're side by side. Gunning is hanging tough on the outside, but Mike grabs the advantage. Bo slides right back in, protects his ground. Mike Christopher, Bo Gunning. Here comes Bob Potter. He's working the low side of the racetrack. Ted Christopher has the high groove. Teddy appears to have a little more momentum out of two. Slides in, picks up the spot, and looks right directly down the tailpipes of car number 33, Bo Gunning.
Once again, the battle resumes between Tom Tagg and Mike Paquette for that number 5 spot, and Tagg now takes it away.
Kenny Johnson very loose off of turn 2, almost lost it in front of the 88 of Savage. Back to the stripe we go. We're at the halfway point. 18 down, 17 to go for driver Mike Christopher, Bo Gunning, and Teddy Christopher in a classic battle for second. Bob Potter waiting in the wings as he has done so many, many times. Then it is the 3 of Tom Tagg, the 1 of Paquette.
Bobble, 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 but everybody hangs in there. Little wiggling going down that straightaway. Tom Tagg closing in on Potter now. This could be an interesting battle coming up.
As A.J. Foyt once said, if you don't give yourself at least one thrill in that race car every time you're out there, you haven't driven a race car. Off the turn they go, and down the back straightaway. Christopher now looks to the inside of Gunning. Can't make the move, but he is putting Bo on notice that he is right there, ready to take advantage of any slip that the Bethlehem, Connecticut driver might make. So it is Bo Gunning trying to maintain his position at second, but also trying to close ground on Mike Christopher. The 53 of Kenny Johnson is spun into the infield. He is able to refire the car. We'll see if he sits tight. He does. He lets the field go by. Good move on his part. He'll lose a lap, but he also saved his and probably everyone else's race car in the process. So back to the head of this class, it is the 82, Mike Christopher, setting the pace with about an 8 to 10 car length advantage over Bo Gunning, who has his hands full with Ted Christopher.
Now here comes Tom Tagg, trying to get his nose. Uh-oh, he gets sideways, trying to overtake Potter, and loses valuable ground. Tough break for Tagg.
24 circuits up on the scoreboard, Raleigh. And Ted Christopher and Bo Gunning in a classic battle here at the Stafford Motor Speedway. Doing it once again. This has turned into be one of the all-time great open-wheel rivalries here in the Northeast between Bo Gunning and the Christopher brothers. And of course, who else is sitting there getting a better show than Bob Potter?
That's right. You called him Mr. Patience early, and he's showing that right now. He's just waiting for that opening, apparently.
Well, only 10 laps remain in this event, so if Bob Potter is going to do something, now is the time to begin to look at it. But so many times, Potter has rolled to victory by just plain playing it cool. Steve Shawansky slides the 57 into the infield. And we will see if, in fact, this does bring out a caution. He's motioning up to Chris Hopkins that it's not going to do any good to wait because he cannot refire the car. He's still working at it, however. We'll see if he is able to do that. Chuck's auto wrecker is now coming out, and he'll get show chassis-sponsored race car into the pit area.
But obviously, so
From the other, that's how close they've been all day.
No question about it. There's great competition with both drivers have certainly come into their own, and they know how to get it done. Green flag is back out and getting it done. That's what it's all about. 9 laps remain to be run, and it is Mike Christopher who once again grabs the advantage. Now Teddy is down low. He glues himself to Michael's bumper. That puts Bo Gunning up in the high groove and really out of the ballpark. But look at Rick Donnelly, car number 2. Donnelly challenges Potter on the outside. He managed to get ahead of Paquette. Rick Donnelly, who ran very well yesterday, finds himself right back in the thick of things. Paquette bobbles just a bit. They're almost 3 wide in turn 2. Everybody makes it through. Tom Tagg's car obviously giving him some real thrills out there today. Back down to the line they go. 28 laps up on the scoreboard. 35 is the scheduled distance for the Winston Racing Series Modifieds. Bob Georgitis, car number 86, looking to make a move to the high side of Mike Paquette.
Tom Tagg trying to close in once again, and here he comes, moving to the back bumper of Bob Georgitis in the 86. Trying to mount a challenge here in the late going, just 6 laps to go now. And Bob Potter had better make his move very quickly, as he is still a car length behind Bo Gunning.
Potter spent considerable time here Friday, setting the car up as an open practice here at the Stafford Speedway Friday afternoon, and appeared to be quite content with the race car yesterday morning. As well he should be. An excellent run for Bob Potter in the Freddy's TV Burnett's Machine-sponsored race car.
Mike Paquette holding off the challenge of Bob Georgitis back in the pack. Here comes Georgitis low once again to give it a try. And Potter looks like he make the inside move on Gunning. No, just a fake. Maybe setting Gunning up.
It is the brothers Christopher running 1 and 2. Mike in car number 82, Teddy in the 13. Mike Christopher with 7 wins in the last decade here at the Speedway. And Teddy has 25 wins.
Well, it sure looks like Mike Day now. He's looking very strong, has the entire race. And here he comes as Chris Hopkins has the flag out. Jerry Savage spinning out of turn 2. Just 2 laps remaining.
And it is doubtful that he is going to be able to refire that car and get out in time. And he doesn't. Yellow flag comes out. So Jerry Savage out of East Longmeadow in the Electrical Contractors sponsored race car.
And here go our contenders for the win today. And we've got the green, and here we go. Who will it be at the line? Well, can't be any much closer than that.
Off the second turn, Michael grabs the advantage and brings them down the back straightaway. Bo Gunning hangs in there for third. Ted Christopher drops in for second. Potter and Donnelly still duking it out for position number 4 on the racetrack. White flag is out. We've got one more time around. Mike and Ted running bumper to bumper, nose to tail, but Mike appears to have just a little bit more under the hood as they exit turn 2, and that is where it's important here today. But look at Teddy close in as they approach the checkered flag. Down to the wire they come. Michael waves to the crowd and to his brother, and says, "It is mine." And the name of Mike Christopher goes down in the record books as the winner of the Winston Racing Series Modified Feature event here at the Stafford Motor Speedway on Spring Sizzler Weekend in 1993.
Ted in second place. Then it was Bo Gunning third in the 33, followed by Potter, fourth place in the 51. Then the 2X of Donnelly in fifth place, followed by Georgitis in the 86 in sixth place. The 3 machine finishing next in seventh. Car number 1 in 8th place, the 57 in 9th, and the 21 in 10th place. There are your top 10 for the Winston Racing Series feature.
Ran the first one, Richmond, Virginia. And it was Mike Stefanik in his very first outing with the Mario Fiore car number 44. And what a great run it was for that team. Let's go trackside now. Tony Sutton we'll interview our winner, Mike Christopher. Tony?
Thanks, guys. Mike is getting his picture taken. Obviously very delighted with his run. We're not sure what it was that he had under the hood, but it was stronger than everybody else's. And what was a severely crash-marred race. And I think the guys were very slow to let the tires warm up, and it wound up reducing the field considerably. Well, Mike's being congratulated by all his fans, supporters. We'll see if we can get him up here, get a couple of words with him. Ladies and gentlemen, Mike Christopher! You ran strong all race long. The setup must have been right on the money.
Well, we had an awful year last year. Just couldn't get the car to work, and just through at the end of the season, we really kind of got it going good. And with the help of Raceworks, and other guys, the car was definitely good at the end of the season, and it followed through to this year. And we were fast on Friday. We were fast yesterday. It was a little tight and getting in, but a little loose getting off for the future. We didn't really know what to do with the weather, but man, I tell you what, that thing goes down the straightaway.
It looked greasy for everybody. Did you have trouble getting the tires warmed up? That's what it looked like from the infield.
And not as bad as like when we had with McCreary's last year. Obviously, the Hoosiers definitely hook up better, and Hoosier gave us a good tire to run on. The car was real good in the beginning of the race, towards like 3/4 of the race, and then it got a little bit, pushy and loose. But hey, the thing worked good enough to win.
We didn't see the pushy and loose from the stands. I'll tell you that. You did a really good job. Congratulations. One more thing. I know you're looking for a sponsor. Obviously, performance and driving ability now should amount to something.
Well, I have a lot of little guys that help me, and I asked them before the season started. I said, I really don't have anybody major helping me out. I said, do you mind if I just say a sponsor want a car, because I really need somebody that would give me more money than they are. Actually, they help me out with a little bit of funds every week, and they said no problem. That's why we announced it that way, just to attract somebody that can kind of cover the major bills on the car. It's my engine. I build everything on it. My buddies, my crew, Eugene and Craig, they're the only two guys that really help me on it.
Well, it's obvious that your insight into motor building and driving is far superior to everybody else in this class, and congratulations once again.
Thanks a lot. Really appreciate it.